Hi everybody! It's been a while, but I'm back, I think. So I've had a lot of things going on, and therefore I haven't been able to do videos because I haven't actually had the time to sit down and talk to a camera, let alone edit the videos after. So I can't even remember the last time I did a video. I think it was maybe like a month ago. It might have been longer. I did warn you that that might happen. I got done with all of my work for my book that I'm doing, and then I had to design 2 boxes in a month. So after all of that, it took me another week to kind of get myself back together, and this is the second week since all of those crazy deadlines, and I'm sort of still a little bit out of it. I think my mind is just kind of reeling from, let's see, January, February, March, April. Yeah, 4 straight months of really long nights and hard deadlines. So yeah, but I'm finally starting to feel a little bit more like myself. I'm excited to get back into doing videos. My husband and I have a really big project that we're going to be launching soon, I hope. I'm not exactly sure when. I think it will require me to have my bookshelves done, just because I can't easily access any of my books right now, and it's almost complete. I think we have like 2 more banks of shelves to get done, and then everything needs to get painted and then obviously put into my library. But the estimated time right now is like the first week of June, so that'll be really good. That'll give me like just enough time to get all of my books in before the kid arrives, assuming she doesn't come early. I'm now getting really big and so that's starting to get unpleasant. So the sooner I can get my bookshelves in, the better it'll be for getting all of these books on the other side of my office, down the stairs, and into my bookshelves. It's floor to ceiling, and our ceilings are high in there, so it's going to be really interesting to see if I can even do it when I'm 8 months pregnant. So yeah, I'll get all the books downstairs, then I've got to put them up. I want to log them into my Delicious Library, which I haven't done in forever. I love Delicious Library. It's basically this program that you can just like scan your books and it catalogs them for you, and it keeps them all in. You can put different like smart shelves and everything will log into certain ways. It's just nice to have an account of all of the books that I bought. That way, if for some reason like we have a fire or a hurricane knocks our house down or any kind of crazy thing like that, I will at least have some record of all of the books that I had, for insurance purposes, if nothing else, and then also to start replacing them, which, oh Lord, I hope that never happens. So anyway, that I've got to do before I put everything on the shelf. But then I also have to figure out, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen my bookshelves before I moved them, like the old ones that I had, before I moved them all up here into my office so that we could build the new ones. But I did everything in color coded because I love color coding everything. That's just how my brain works. And so I'm gonna have to sit there and go through all of the color coding as well. I plan to do it on video. To a certain extent. I think I'll have to log everything while I'm up here, all of my new books that I've gotten over the last probably year or so, and then maybe bring them downstairs. That way you don't have to see me sit there and boop, log everything into my computer too. But it'll be on a time lapse. It should be pretty funny, especially because I'm gonna be super pregnant. And yeah, so that's what I have to look forward to. But anyway, the whole point of saying that is that I can't access my books right now to do any of the videos that I want to do. So I'm feeling a little bit creatively stuck as far as these videos go, and so I'm kind of like, if I miss another day, what's really the point anyway, because I can't talk about anything that I want to because I can't get to the books. I just read a middle grade novel that I loved, and I realized it was from an author that I read a few years ago that had another book, and I remember loving that one, and I thought, oh, I should do this video about this particular author and be able to do things like that. But I have no idea where that book is. It could be in the stacks that are still up against my wall, but like down at the bottom where I can't reach it, or it could be in the, now, I don't know, 20 stacks of like little stacks of books that had originally fallen down when they all fell off the wall where they've been stacked up. I can't bend over that long to look for them at this point. So I just have to wait. So that being said, I don't know how often or how consistently I will be posting until then, but I do plan on getting into a rhythm with the videos. The thing that my husband and I are working on is something that will also help this channel be more consistent, so that's really good. I'm not ready to talk about it quite yet, so I'm just gonna leave you in suspense for a little bit longer. Yeah, okay, so I wrote a book. And when I say I wrote it, I mean I actually hand-lettered it too. It's not a like straight up novel book, although I have written that too. And I'm working on the second one, or I'm attempting to work on the second one, but I never have any free time to actually work on the manuscript, which is driving me crazy. And I feel so disconnected from that story that I have to go back and reread that book. But I'm reading maybe 20 books this month for July and August's themes, so that I can, for Nerdy Post, so that I can actually like not be overwhelmed when my child is supposed to get here. So I don't know if I can squeeze my own book in there. I know that sounds weird, but it's just been such a long time because I stopped writing the second book so that I could work on this book that's coming out in August, like 5 days after my kid is supposed to come out. So it's gonna be a busy August for me. But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna miss details, or I'm just not as familiar with the characters as I used to be. I mean, I know them, they're me in so many ways. I mean, they all come from me, but it's nice to be able to remember their voices when I go to write them again, so that it still sounds like them. So I have to somehow squeeze that in. I wanted to get the manuscript done before the baby arrived, but I just don't think that's gonna happen. But you know, miracles happen, I guess. I could just go on a tear and start doing really well with it and write like 10,000 words a day. But until that happens, it'll probably not be August. And I'm hoping that I can get an agent. I would really like to get an agent. It's supposed to be a 4-book series. I self-published the first one, and I intend to self-publish the second one, but I'm also going to be pitching it. I have the plots all worked out for 3 and 4. Once I have the second one written and edited, I would like to send, you know, manuscript, all that fun stuff out, query, and hopefully get picked up. And the reason that I would like to get picked up, even though it would mean relinquishing the plans I have for the series covers, which are going to be amazing, is that I don't self-promote well at all. I'm just not very good at it. And I know this about myself. I don't even, I mean, The Legend of Me, the book that I stopped writing my novel to do, I didn't even add my own name on the cover. Like, it took them to the end before they're like, hey, you might want to put the name on the cover just somewhere. Just put your name somewhere on it. Like, I don't know what it is about me. I don't know. I just don't self-promote well. So anyway, that all being said, I have a book coming out, and it is a guided like autobiography. So I don't know if you've ever seen those like about me little journal things that have like all of these questions and these prompts about, you know, who's your grandparents, and the 5 things about you that are most positive, or, you know, there's a column for relationships and there's a section for friendships and all of that. But they're kind of dry, and like they're fun at first, but then it's kind of like very, I don't know, it doesn't cater to the kind of person that I am, which is like, it's lacking in all of the fun. And so that is what this book basically is an about me journal book thing, but it gives you the opportunity to, sometimes I don't articulate well, so I want to draw something. Well, there's places to draw things. Or if you suck at drawing, you can just paste in a picture. Or if you got really creative and you just wanted to hand letter everything, just hand letter everything inside it. Or just write it. Like, there's so many different ways that you can go about this book, which I really like. And I did on purpose for the very reason that I have different modes of creating depending on what it is. So, but the fun thing is it's like totally geek driven. So there are prompts like my ideal adventure would be, and then I list things that like remind you of perhaps Supernatural or Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter or Firefly. I'm basically listing all my favorites. Anyway, things like that. You have your D&D references. I actually managed to get a Sailor Moon / Nevernight reference in there, which I'm pretty impressed with myself for doing. I also have a Kung Fu Panda reference, so if you get that one, 100 points to you and your house. There's so many fun things about this, but it was a nightmare to get done. So last year, about this time, we started talking about some kind of book that we could do, me and the Quarto people. And this is the book that we came up with, and so they wanted me to write it. They're like, you know a bunch about geek culture, all this stuff. And I don't know if I know a bunch about it, I just am very, what is the word? Mired in it? Is that the right word? Oh, I'll just blame pregnancy if it's the wrong word. Anyway, so we talked about it, and this is what we came up with, this guided journal thing. And so I wrote the whole thing. And then that was probably last August, and the book was set to be out in the spring. And then I didn't hear anything for quite a while. Like I sent them all the manuscript, and I was just kind of waiting for edits, and I don't really know how long the process takes. I figured they were like working with designers, blah, blah, blah. In the meantime, I started doing the bonus boxes, like the extra, like the bookmark box. I did 2 of those. I did the Stranger Things box on top of our monthly boxes. And then I got pregnant, and then I was sick that whole month of December. And then I reached out afterward, like early January. And I was just like, hey, to the guy I had been working with. Not sure where everything is. My sister stumbled on the Amazon listing, and there's a cover on it. It wasn't my favorite thing I'd ever seen, but I was trying to be like cool. If that was what it was, then I just have to live with it, because I know authors don't really get a chance to decide generally. And I was like, if that's the final cover, can I share it? If it's not, can I be involved in designing it? Because I hadn't heard. I knew we'd kind of spitballed the idea of me doing some of the design, but that was all that I had ever heard. And a different person, the original person who reached back out to me and said, oh, the guy you've been working with is gone. I don't know any other details. After looking at your storyboarding, we'd love for you to actually do the design, to design the interior and the cover, everything. Which I was not expecting. Like, I thought, okay, maybe the cover, but I didn't, and like the chapter headings or something, not what it ended up being. And granted, some of that was my own choice for how I did it, but still. So, I was like, yeah, that'd be great. You know, I'm finally feeling better. I'm getting close to the second trimester. I'm feeling like I've got energy. You know, what's the due date? And this was the beginning of January. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna need the cover and a few sample pages by the end of January, early February. And I was like, well, that's like a couple weeks. Like, okay, yeah, I think I could do that. I'll get a bunch of artists. They'll help me out. I'll get ahead with my box. Fine. And then we'll need the final stuff by the start of March about a heart attack, because that's a lot of pages and like full design on these pages. But I was like, this is a huge opportunity. This is something that I have on my goals book that says like what, you know, what I want to accomplish in 2018, and one of those was actually design my own book covers, or design book covers, and be published. So I managed to get both of those, just not in the way that I expected. So anyway, so I was designing fictional boyfriends. I was designing fictional boyfriends, prepping and talking to all the artists for the Dumbledore box in the same month. And doing all of this book stuff with the deadline. I managed somehow to get it all done, and then another deadline popped up, and they were like, okay, well, we need this and this by this date. I don't even remember. It's just become a blur. I think the next step was actually, like, I had to finalize everything, because I was waiting to hear back on edits to really clean up all the lines. And anyway, so that next deadline hit the next month. And so I had to do the exact same thing. I had to prep the, Dumbledore and then Fantasy. Meanwhile, Fantasy was not originally supposed to be then. It wasn't supposed to be until July. I had a different thing planned, but then for doing a project for Owlcrate, in the way that instead of just paying me, we asked if we could put a flyer into their box. And so we basically just changed the theme to kind of, hopefully, I was a little iffy about the theme that it was going to be, and then I thought that her audience maybe wouldn't be as attached to the one that we had, so we switched it. Which meant that, like, I was planning on having until July to read all of these books to include in the fantasy box, and then all of a sudden I had to read and listen to, I mean, Audible saves my life, but a ton of books so that I could put the best material. I like to be able to read or watch, depending on the theme, everything, all the content that I put in, so that I don't accidentally, like, misquote something, or, oh, that's not in the book, you know, that kind of stuff. I want to be able to connect with it on a level of, I've actually read that. So I had all of these books to read on top of all this other stuff to do. And meanwhile, still pregnant through all of this, which is, you know, at least I wasn't nauseous, but it's not like 100% pleasant being pregnant. So it was a little overwhelming. There wasn't a lot of sleep involved. And then I finally got done with that, and then I had to do one more deadline, and I got that done. And then I had a project that I was doing for Tookish Candle Co. And I did that. It took me a little bit longer because I was like, oh, details. Meanwhile, I didn't have a chance to prep any artists for the sci-fi box, even though I knew I also had the Percy box to design. But I was really excited about the sci-fi box, and so I was just like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna do both boxes myself, which was fine, except for that after I did the Tookish Candle Co. thing, I was behind. And so I did 2 full boxes of designs in less than 2 weeks. So everything that you see, I mean, now some of it I had to order early, so I designed a few of those things. Like I designed the pins and the fabric for the book sleeves, and I think that's it. Oh, the patch. All of those things, like right away at the start of those 2 weeks, and then slowly built it up. Oh, and then I also had the t-shirt for the next month to do. Like, I don't give myself a lot of leeway here. I've never had the chance to get ahead. I was intended to, and I'm attempting to now, but it's kind of crazy. So right now I'm working on the Fierce Females box, but I'm also working on the next 2 boxes, so that next month, when I should be working on all that, I can be working on the box that will hit when I potentially could have a kid. So I'm doing pretty good there. I've got, like I said, a lot of books to read. And so I'll be doing that. And oh, my husband's out of town, so entertaining a 2.5-year-old in the evenings who is wild and crazy. She's really, really fun right now, but she's also really crazy. So it definitely cuts into like work a little bit. Like last night I I worked for a little bit after she went to bed, but then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go cuddle and sleep with her. I don't need to stay up super late. So, it's a little harder because I have to take her to school and pick her up, which I don't usually do, especially when I've been so busy this whole year. Okay, so anyway, after all of that, I think that's really all I have to talk about at this point. Like I said, I can't reach a lot of my books, so I'm not really sure what to talk about because I don't know what to pull out and what to, I don't know, it's just kind of, I won't be very consistent until I get my bookshelves in. But I will keep you updated as much as I can, and I'm really looking forward to getting back into the rhythm of this properly. By then I'll probably have a tiny little baby with me, so it's just like, hello, here's the tiny baby. I don't have any unboxings planned. I feel like all I do here when I can't think of something is unboxings because they're easy to get to. So I don't want to just be an unboxing channel. So I'll get back in the swing of those as well too, but probably not yet. I want to be able to have a better balance of things. All right, I need to go read like 3 books today and then go get my kid. All right, so this was a weird and rambly video, but now you know what I've been up to and basically what the inside of my brain looks like, which is a jumbled train of thoughts, and yeah. I don't know when I'll see you next. I'm thinking by June, if bookshelves stay on track, middle of June, I may actually start to post really consistently again. So that is the hope. I'll do what I can. Till then, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my really weird ramble about my life for the past 6 months or so, and I'll see you next time, whenever that may be.